So, what I'd like to talk to you about today is dealing with depression. We live in unprecedented times in the sense that there is so much stimulation and information, tasks, responsibilities that you can feel overwhelmed. It's very natural in today's society to just feel like there's too much, where we tend to have a media outlet and resources that show us more negative than they do positive. And there is so much positive out there that it's really mind blowing that we're fed what we're fed. So, what I want to talk to you about is some of my own personal struggles and how I've dealt with them over time and with age and knowledge and some of the resources that I've used in order to maintain more of a healthy balance in my life and how I treat others and how I let all those external sources work for me instead of them working against me. So really depression by definition, is just the ups and downs of your mood, going from rock bottom to, the extreme highs. So what I try to maintain basically is kind of an even keel right in the middle. I want to stay just right in the middle, kind of like a coin toss. I want it to be heads and tails 50% of the time. So having dealt with depression more in the past and when I was in my 20s and 30s, what I found with age, especially getting into my 40s, is the biggest thing I can do is take control. I always say that throughout any culture, wherever you're at in this world, whatever the color of your skin, we all have one thing in common. We all want control. We all want to control our destinies. We all want to control our current situations. And where it gets tough is when you don't have control. So, how do you maintain control? Well, you can control what you eat, for example. Diet is very important nowadays with the quality of food we're getting. So, for example, I never eat out at restaurants. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but you can control the amount that you might eat out because you're probably not getting the best quality of food. And your gut health, it affects everything. So for me, I stay very consistent with what I eat. I eat, high protein, things that are lean, a lot of fruits and vegetables, and that helps me immensely. My gut health really controls everything. I've talked in other videos that you can seek out about the importance of that sort of health. I have a lot of shorts that talk about the importance of fruits and vegetables, so I highly recommend you look at those. But it's really a no-brainer. They always say, when you go to a grocery, stay on the outside aisles. Usually the middle ones are all your processed food, and we're not really designed to intake those. They're designed to be yummy for a reason, but they're not necessarily healthy for you. So I'd say diet is probably one of the most important things. And then the other coping mechanism that I've always used for it, and it works for me 100% of the time, is just staying busy. Always having a task, using my hands. It could be anything from playing guitar, maybe even a little video games, just to let go. Certainly making these videos has helped me immensely. I really enjoy it. I enjoy helping others and giving them advice. So that's another very healthy outlet. They certainly take some time to make and they're fun to make. So that's another thing to keep me busy. I love working. I love contributing where I work to a team, and that makes me feel good. But just staying busy in general, I would always tell anybody that the key to your day in and day out is I consider everything I do as a micro win. It could be as simple as putting the dishes away or sweeping the floor or again, making these videos. Everything I do during the day, I consider a small win. And by day's end, I stack all those little wins together, and guess what? I have a very big win at the end of the day, and it's really just that kind of mindset, that positive mindset where you're always accomplishing something. It kind of keeps you distracted. It keeps you away from thinking about the negative because you're immersed in something else. So I'd say besides that health and what you're eating, the second most important thing is just staying busy. So I'd say the other thing too is just your mental outlook on everything and being positive. Most people are going to look at an impossible task that they feel is impossible, and they're looking too big. They're looking at the macro instead of the micro. So some of the most complicated things in the world, look at building the Bay Bridge or the Golden Gate Bridge or the Brooklyn Bridge. Take any bridge. That didn't get built over a day. They always say, Rome wasn't built in a day. So everything you do, it's a lot of small steps that all come together to make one big thing. So just like battling depression, it's going to take a series of, little small things all kind of combined together every day to accomplish the big goal. So you have to be very mindful of that positive mindset and stop doubting yourself. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, because that's the whole point of this adventure, is to learn and to grow constantly. It's like reading and writing or math when you were a kid, is you didn't just, unless you're a savant at something, you weren't really born with that knowledge, but over time, with hard work and dedication, you became better at it. I mean, think about walking. You probably don't remember all the steps involved and all the falls you took as a young kid, but you eventually will learn to walk. You just don't remember it. Our brain tends to kind of collate things to where you know how to do things through muscle memory, but you really don't remember the steps involved. So just know that you've already accomplished impossible feats and tasks consistently, and you're more than capable of it. You just have to approach it with kind of ironically enough, those baby steps in order to grow. So just be mindful of that positive mindset that you can accomplish anything you want. You just have to dream it. You have to see it. You have to believe it first that you can do it in order to get there. So the other part of it is there's resources too. So you're watching one right now. There is so many videos on YouTube, and that's the beautiful thing about this platform, is there's a lot of people that are trying to help you, and there's a lot of resources, whether good or bad, that are here for you. I tell anybody, you're always welcome to email me at bordinsbrain@gmail.com, and I would be happy to give you some one-on-one advice, because I'm not making these videos to be an influencer or make a quick buck or anything. I'm not monetized, but I get a lot of joy out of helping people. It makes me feel good, and I always figure if I can just help one person, that's a win. It's a micro win, but it's really a big win. And I'm happy to do that for you because I've seen enough in this lifetime to where I think I have some good advice. I'm certainly not a psychologist or a doctor, but I just want to give real world solutions and tell you how I overcame certain things. So there's plenty of resources, at school, there's counselors, and there's also hotlines. There's a lot of free resources in this world that are designed to help you because this is not uncommon. I mean, if you feel like you're alone in this, you are certainly not. It happens to everybody, just on varying degrees. I can guarantee you there's billionaires out there that have depression. It's probably based around money and success, but it's all relative, but it's all the same at the end of the day. So just embrace it. Know that you're not alone. Know that this is natural, that it's all by design. I can tell you about a year ago, I was going through some hard times with my work and feeling kind of unappreciated. And what I did was I faced it full force. I went at it hard and I stayed very busy. And I also sought out on YouTube what's called NDE videos. Look it up. People talk about going and coming back from the afterlife. And those were so helpful to me because what it told me was that this is just one of many journeys. You need to stop putting so much pressure on yourself to be perfect all the time and get so much done right now because this is a choice. This is a tough playground that we're all in, but this is one of many. This isn't the last one. Energy is always going to be energy. It's always out there and you're going to have more opportunities and you're meant to grow. You're meant to make mistakes. It's meant to be hard, and sometimes the harder it is, the better you're going to be for it. So just know that you're not alone. I'm always here to help you. There's plenty of resources and that you're strong. You're special. You are the only you on this planet and embrace it. Be the best you can be. Take pride in it. Don't apologize to anybody for what you do. Just move on, learn from it, and be better for it. So, as always, I hope you're taking care of yourself. If you're not, you need to start right now. Please comment, like, subscribe if you care to. Show your family and friends these videos and, just keep growing. It's important. Like I said, you're special. This is a learning process and you're going to be just fine. So keep working on you, be the best you can be. And I hope this video finds you well and we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.